Okay, good evening and special welcome for those who brave the winter weather and come to the meditation center. Today's session is on meditating minds with a focus on happiness to discover the source, an inner source of happiness. And did you know that there is an International Day of Happiness? Tomorrow, 20th, is UN declared International Day for Happiness. And so we thought this session to dedicate it to exploring a bit this this a state of happiness. And we will explore it with meditations in between, but also some discussion, and there is possibility to interact or ask questions. And those on Zoom, I see many familiar names. You're welcome to come in camera also, and feel free to interact where you have a question. But this elusive state of happiness, and maybe one thing that is useful to reflect more deeply on and to grasp, maybe to understand, is that there are different levels of happiness, different forms, maybe a better word, different forms or different categories of happiness. And one form is the instant pleasure form, no? The chocolate form of happiness, or the ice cream form of happiness. You eat it, you taste it, you touch it, you hear it, and you feel happy. In the case of chocolate or in the case of ice cream, it might not be so, long-lasting. As soon as the chocolate finishes, the ice cream finishes, happiness finishes. And maybe even while you're eating it, you even feel, I should not be. Or if you don't have that feeling, you dread it when it is finished. So that kind of pleasure is very fleeting. But in today's world, we do not necessarily realize that there are other forms of happiness too. There is, for example, the joy that comes for those of us who are inclined to read, but the joy of a good book, the experience of a book, the information that is there, or the journey that it takes you on. It is longer lasting, and it often also changes you inside. A good book, it changes you. It changes your perspective, it changes your thinking, it gives you some information, it broadens your vision. So it is a form of joy that also forms your experiences and your character, maybe even, and your skills or your ability. So it is a higher form of joy than the joy of chocolate, the pleasure of chocolate. No? The joy of a friendship, the joy of a enriching relationship. It gives a deeper sense of self-worth, it gives a deeper sense of confidence, it gives you deeper life experiences. That is another level of joy. And it is useful for us to understand this, because life, our everyday Western modern life, offers a lot of instant quick fixes, you could say, or pleasures, but they often leave us empty afterwards and craving for more and make us addictive. While there are other forms of joy that are empowering, that are enriching. And there is another level of joy that comes from your spiritual experiences, from the ability to govern and master your own mind, the ability that you cultivate to choose your thoughts and not be a victim to circumstances or situations. Your ability to choose healthy feelings and emotions. But we just now, for those who just joined us, we had a 20-minute slowing down, guided meditation on peace. Life goes on, everything happens, but we consciously choose to calm down. We consciously choose to shift the directions of our thoughts and our feelings. That is our creation. And we become masters of our own mind. And there is a deeper joy in exploring that inner power that I can choose how to think, what not to think, and to create an inner state of feelings and emotions that are healthy or that are calming and that are soothing. There is a higher joy in knowing yourself as a being that has these powers, as a being of consciousness, and that we are not necessarily victims or beggars of life and life circumstances. We do not need to depend on external situations or other people to feel peaceful or to feel a master of the self, or to have respect for the self, or a deeper love for the self. The moment you choose to begin to govern your own mind and your inner world, that is even a higher form of joy. To know the self as a spiritual being, temporary, living this human experience through a body, but that I transcend the limitations of matter and body. That is a different level of joy, which is not dependent on external situations or on what other people say. And in meditation also to explore the non-physical and invisible dimension of life that is not dependent on all kinds of external fluctuations. That is another form of joy that we can explore and experiment and experience. And so just a quick sketch to get a bit of an idea of what is possible. We use this word human being to indicate who we are. I can't draw very well, but this is what the image that we usually carry of ourselves in our mind, the physical form and certain extensions, our job, or the people that we associate with, or our bank account, or our cell phone and our Facebook account, and our sports, maybe, and our hobbies. I don't know how you write that in English, but your hobbies, your culture, your upbringing, your social context, the people, and we think this is me. And my sense of well-being, my sense of self, my sense of value and respect, we base on this. And if this goes well, we feel happy. And if it doesn't go well, we don't feel so happy. In meditation, we can begin to explore and experience and experiment with the understanding of being a non-physical being of consciousness, and that there is a non-physical dimension, and that innately this being who we are that operates all of this is peaceful, is loving, is innately blissful, pure, powerful, wise, free, secure, and timeless. A word that is used for this also is soul, or spirit, or spiritual being. We are spiritual beings using this body to play out a part and have a human experience. And this deeper joy comes from touching on this awareness and experiences of the self as light, transcending the limitations or the definitions of this physical. Can those on Zoom see the image? Okay. Hello. Good
Yes,
evening.
sister.
Yeah.
We can see.
Okay. So let's have some practices and some meditations to discover and explore a bit this inner dimension of happiness. And one way that happiness or this deeper joy is defined is a state where we are free from limited desires, where one is content and full inside, and everything here becomes extra. If it's there, it's nice. If it's not there, it's also fine. If we have it, it's fine. If we don't have it, it doesn't disturb the inner state. If there is chocolate, it's nice. If there's no chocolate, it's also nice. If there's a good book, it's nice. If there's no good book, it's also fine. Because we're approaching this physical world experience from a state of inner fullness. As if like travelers or a guest in the body, in the physical world. But we come from a space of fullness instead of from a space of emptiness where we feel we need this, we need that, we need this one, we need all of this to be at peace or to be happy or to be feeling what is it? Pure or secure. We come from a state that we call soul consciousness. And from that inner space, we operate and express and experience the physical world. So let's play with this. Or if you want to say anything or ask anything so far. No? Okay. Let's explore a little bit this. And so although spiritual wisdom, spiritual understandings are vast, the exercises and the meditation is simple. to just shift your attention away from all the external things and become aware of the self as this conscious, living experiencer. The invisible, observer, and all kinds of thoughts maybe trying to push their way on the screen of your mind. But we just say not now. And just let them pass. And come back to this awareness of the self as this inner being of consciousness. Being of timeless, pure, living light. Free. Peaceful. It is the ego that creates all kinds of inner disturbances and desires and rush, and we just let go of all the ego. And be at ease, in peace. And just hold in the mind this image of light, a tiny star, pure, free. And touch on that sense of innocence. I am. At ease. And I reflect on this thought of being a traveler, an observer, a guest in this body, a guest on this planet. A temporary visitor, passing through this human experience. Playing this game of human life. Peaceful, timeless, still. Allowing the self to be at ease and in peace. as we gradually choose to come to the end of this meditation exercise, we hold this awareness of timeless living light. Thank you. Want to say anything or ask anything? Go ahead.
I had a question. I was wondering what branch of Buddhism or Hinduism you guys associated with.
What is this?
What's in the kind of school that you...
What is the school that this is related to? The name of the institution is the Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual Organization, and the teachings are called Raj Yoga. Raj means king, yoga means connection, union. So this is the royal union, which means or connection, the connection with the real self, the royal self, the soul. Not to become aware of the self as this inner being of consciousness with huge power and potential. And in the deeper meditation also the connection with the Supreme Soul. Raj Yoga, that is what it's called, from the Brahma Kumaris. And it is a system of spiritual knowledge combined with meditation exercises. Spiritual educational system to explore the inner dimension, to explore the hidden inner powers of the self. It started in the 1930s in Pakistan. At that time was India, undivided India, and with a group of about 300 who were deeply practicing and studying this knowledge, and it spread out all over the world, opening meditation schools in different countries, different places. And this center has been here since 1997. Feel free. Yeah.
Which of the major religions is it tied to any?
It is not tied to any specific religion, and people from all religious backgrounds can come and do come and explore this specific type of meditation, because we feel religions are part of the human experience, whilst the soul transcends the human experience. So religion of the soul would be peace. The religion of the soul would be bliss. And so people from all cultures, from all backgrounds, from all religious backgrounds also can explore the spiritual dimension of who they truly are. And even atheists, they don't have to belong to any religion per se also. Okay. Anyone on Zoom? Want to say anything? Ask anything? Today you're all very quiet. Okay. Well, maybe we will do one more meditation exercise. And as we said in the beginning, spiritual knowledge is vast and there are so many aspects and dimensions, but practices are simple. To shift this awareness from the self as a physical, mortal being, human, to a non-physical, invisible, spiritual, and timeless being of consciousness. To just become aware of that, these two parts. There is the body and the human personality and human functioning, but the one who is operating this body, that inner being, that higher being, that timeless living light. To come to that awareness and touch also that sense of timelessness and stillness. Even though the physical drama as it is goes on. And so to just step back in your mind, step back. And take that as if observer position. Okay? So for a few moments, we consciously choose to step back. And to become aware of the self. As this invisible inner being. Body is visible, objects are visible, but thoughts are not. And the one who is creating thoughts is that invisible experiencer. And we use the image of light, tiny star, pure, free, imperishable, living light. And just hold in the mind this image of a tiny star, the one who has awareness of time, of place, the one who makes decisions and chooses and creates thoughts and feelings. And just fill the mind with light and silence and stillness. Pure. Peaceful. Serene. Clean. And allow this timeless nature, this spiritual self, to emerge. Come out of all the limited identities connected with the body and the human part. That's all. Temporary and passing. The real self is imperishable, immortal, peaceful, living light. The whole physical world is just a temporary game. And we use our bodies as costumes to act out the parts in this game. But to just step back from the game and to discover the beauty, the power, the greatness, the purity and the innocence of the soul. To just drop everything limited. come out of the ego and all the limited identities. And to wake up to the awareness of the self. As timeless, imperishable, a being who is innately godlike. Invisible observer of the game of human life. I am peaceful, living light. And in this state of pure awareness of self, a deeper, solid inner joy grows. And as we gradually choose to become aware again of the external and the visible dimension, we hold this awareness of the self as living light, as a guest in this body, a guest on this planet. A traveler through time and space. Om Shanti. Thank you. Okay. Anyone, any final thoughts? Want to say anything? Hello, Tanvi.
Yes, Sister. Thank you for the meditation. I had a question to ask. I guess one of the things that I ask myself as I'm sort of going through my day-to-day is where to draw the line between responsibility and duty versus ego and ambition. I think this particularly comes up for me relative to career and job. And so I'm trying to figure out how to sort of think about that and tie it back to everything that you talk about here.
For any decision, any choice, any idea of responsibility or ambition, it is always good to hold the bigger picture, the biggest picture, as big as you can. And in this context, in terms of responsibility or in terms of ambition, it is always useful to ask yourself, what is the deeper purpose of my life? And what is my deeper aim? Because we can get swept away and we can get influenced by, oh, I need this, I have to do this, this is my responsibility. I worked many years in a geriatrics clinic where I have seen many patients in the last stage of their life, this physical present life. And one of the things I learned is that people often things that they used to tell me is that the things that they used to think that were important during their life, at the end of the life, they feel they were not so clear about priorities. You know, we go after career, but then we lose our health, for example. Or we go after career and we neglect relationships. And one of the things I learned is that the human experience is meant to give us joy, happiness, the experience of love, enriching your wisdom, not necessarily your knowledge, but your wisdom. Those are higher purposes. And it is useful to define for ourselves, you know, what is my aim truly? And in function of that, you decide your priorities, you decide your ambitions, you decide your responsibilities. Firstly, towards yourself, but also towards others, because even though people may be running after all kinds of things, what is it that people are really truly looking for? Deep down, people want to be secure. Deep down, people want to feel loved. People want to feel that they matter, you know, that their life and their existence matters. People want to experience peace. And in that context, we should define our responsibility. And that helps make our choices. And in the spiritual context, if we understand ourselves as travelers through time and space, spiritual beings with God-like quality and nature, And this is a temporary game. The things come and go, situations start and they end. In a few years' time, the whole thing can be completely different. So what truly is my responsibility? Is my responsibility to be more and more aware of myself as this spiritual being and use this higher nature to play the game and to share with others peace and happiness. Maybe that is our real aim at work. At some stage I came to that conclusion that my responsibility at work is to just share with others peace and happiness and love. Because that is the deeper need, even of patients with physical illnesses. Their deeper needs are at the inner level. So I'm not sure if it helps much, but it is good to look at, ask yourself, what is my aim? What is my purpose? What is it that I want with life and with my life? And in the context of that, you define your priorities, your responsibilities. And not run around like a chicken without a head or following the herd mentality, which is usually very superficial but not fulfilling in the long run. It makes us stressed out, tired, and sometimes also even disillusioned, because we pour all our energy and we pour all our skills and talents in things that sometimes, after a while, stop, finish. I have many friends who have poured everything into a career, but they're 45, 50, and what was it all for? Okay, they maybe had money for a while, they could do things and travel, but they're also stressed out, some are in poor health. What was the purpose of it all? And sooner, better than later, we realize this and make conscious choices. We ourselves will feel more happy with it. And we can choose to pour everything into a career, but let it be a conscious choice with a perspective on the bigger context. No, people jump in relationship like nothing, and then after a year they regret like nothing. What was the purpose? What is your responsibility truly towards yourself? And if you do that for yourself in a more thoughtful and a more fulfilling way, you will treat others like that too. So it's not that you withdraw from your responsibilities, but it's just you look at them in a bigger context. And one thing that is helpful, that helped me traveling a lot for a while, people in all cultures, people from all backgrounds, there are just a few things they truly want. They want peace, they want to feel safe, they want to feel loved, they want to be happy. And we just think maybe career or money helps us get that. And to some extent it may, but I also know many people who are rich and successful career-wise, but internally empty and peaceless. I'm not saying that poverty is a virtue, I'm not saying that, but sometimes we can get overboard. So ask yourself, what is my true purpose, my aim? And in function of that, you define your responsibilities and your ambitions. Okay? Well, let's close. It is time. not coming weekend, but the weekend after that, there is a mini retreat for those who don't know. And please share with others our programs, and you're most welcome to join for that also. Okay, let's close with a moment of silence. Okay, thank you.